7 lies about slavery that racists love spreading and people actually believe. And I'm not gonna lie, some of these even caught me off guard. Lie number 1, that few whites actually owned slaves. What's the truth? Nearly a third of white families owned slaves or participated as even overseers. More importantly, the entire society, norms, businesses, industries, etc. were all built around slavery, meaning all were benefited from it. Lie number 2, blacks willingly fought for the Confederacy during the Civil War and were happy to do so. People use this lie to argue that many enslaved people were happy and loyal. The truth is, enslaved were often forced to cook and clean for Confederate soldiers. Whites didn't want slaves with guns initially. They weren't all soldiers at first, and it definitely wasn't always willing. When they were accepted on the battlefields, many wanted the freedom that fighting in the war would give them or family. Slave masters also signed up their slaves in their place. FYI, Abraham Lincoln would eventually reveal that had it not been for the Negro soldiers, the Union would have lost the war. That means that the North wouldn't have been free without us. Lie number 3, house slaves had it much better than field slaves. Both faced hardships. Most of the house slaves were women and children who faced constant brutality, including frequent rape from the mistresses and masters. They were expected to be near and on call more than those in the field, meaning mistreatment was often more frequent and consistent. This is especially true if the master made you one of his choices. You could also face the wrath of the mistress if she knew her husband desired you or bore his children. And rape of house slaves was so common that black Americans today have an average of 16.7% white DNA. This is no matter your complexion. Lie number 4, enslaved people were timid, docile, and or loyal. This is part of the happy, content slave myth. It's connected to stereotypes that blacks thrive under tight control with simple, basic physical tasks because of lack of intelligence. The truth is, we fought back consistently, from the ship revolts before even reaching the Americas to thousands of rebellions over the centuries. We had to deal with slavery but never accepted it. Lie number 5, Lincoln wanted us free. Abraham Lincoln didn't order troops south to free enslaved people. Whites love saying that Lincoln freed the slaves, but he was just trying to keep the U.S. from splitting into two. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation only set some enslaved folks free, and in private, he made it clear he thought they were inferior. Lie number 6, the Civil War wasn't about enslavement. Whitewashed versions of history want us to believe the Civil War was about honorable men protecting their communities and Southern heritage. This too is a lie. In actuality, it was conscious effort to extend our bondage. Mississippi lawmakers even said this: our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. And lie number 7, slavery was abolished in 1965 and was well for black Americans. The law still permitted slavery if you were locked up, so a lot of them became victims of the convict lease system.